Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we're going to be talking about a secret bounty that you can hunt that might just solve one of the game's biggest mysteries. So in order to start this, you need to be in Chapter 4, and you're going to want to go to Rhodes. So if you've never completed any of the bounties in Rhodes, you'll first get a bounty for a man, Mark Johnson. And you're going to want to keep this guy alive. Now, as you can see by his wanted poster, he is wanted for stage and train robberies, and his reward is $25, which is not a ton, but again, it's the starting point for our secret bounty today.
I happen to know that feller is farming the swamp, or trying to, up by Siltwater Strand. He's a bad egg. Fancy that. I seen him coming and going here, and I never had an inkling.
Mark Johnson, the bounty. What I need to know. You gotta be wary of this one?
Just the other day, he took his son out on the rails. He seemed nice enough. Seemed, when quite clearly he is not.
It can be confusing. Anything else about this old bounty you got, Johnson?
I don't know what to tell you. It's a funny one. Man looks to have put roots down, worked hard. He's part of the community. Almost. You never can know a person. And I say that as a married man.
Well, I got a bounty to chase.
So good old Alden gives us some hints on where to find this guy and what we should be careful about. And we essentially find this guy in the swamp. And he's trying to teach his son how to mount a horse, and the son doesn't know how to mount the horse. It's actually really sad and depressing to watch. Not the fact that the son can't get up on the horse, because I've never done that, so I don't know how hard that is. But the father seems like a big time jerk to his kid. And once you come around the corner and reveal that you were there, he will go away pretty peacefully. And then you have the option to allow him to say something to his son. Now, I did. And I feel like this was the wrong decision, as you'll see in a little bit. But it does give you higher honor. So you get an extra honor bonus for doing that. So now that you have Mark Johnson, your goal is to take him back to the Rhodes jail. So from there, it's pretty simple. You basically just want to put him on the back of your horse, and you want to go along the route. However, as you go under this bridge, you'll notice that he actually escapes, which will force you to re-hog tie him, and you have to put him back on your horse. And as soon as you do that, it looks like he recruited some extra gang members to come and hunt you down. And it's pretty easy. There's only 3 of them. And I think that's what he was telling his son. He was saying hey, tell the guys to be at this location, because that's where I'm going to be getting, bounty hunted through. And once you do that, the rest of your journey should be pretty easy and pretty straightforward. You basically just take him to the sheriff, where he has this to say.
Found this feller on a small holding. Name's Mark Johnson.
You can only run so long, son. There's your cell. You're lucky it's not a grave.
I was out in the bayou. Wasn't hurting no one.
Maybe you weren't, but those partners of yours were a rough bunch.
Go to hell.
That's the price for Johnson.
I didn't take it, someone else would have.
So that's the first part of what you need to do today in order to unlock this secret bounty, is you need to catch Mark Johnson. The next thing you need to do is visit one of the hidden shacks in game. This is actually located just south of Rhodes. It's called the Old Harry Finn Shack. Now, we've actually covered this in another video I did. It's actually related to another stranger mission. Do you guys remember that guy, Jeremiah Compson? He was actually an old slave trader, and you eventually got a bunch of stuff for him, but he turned out to be a terrible person, so at the end of that mission, I ended up shooting him in the face. Well, we actually have to go visit that shack, Old Harry Finn. It's a really run-down shack, and when you go on the inside, you'll notice some really creepy stuff here. If it wasn't obvious enough, it's pretty clear that this old cabin or shack used to be like an outpost for holding slaves, as you guys can see from the shackles and chains on the wall. Underneath the floorboard, you can also find a family photograph of what looks to be one of the slaves that was actually kept here. Again, that's really, really sad. And if you explore the rest of the house, you'll actually find a newspaper clipping about a runaway slave. In fact, the title of the newspaper is called Slave Catcher Newspaper Scrap, which is offering a $200 reward if someone ends up finding this runaway slave. But needless to say, this cabin sheds a light on the culture in the 19th century, about 20 or 30 years before our journey starts. You know, the Civil War, slaves, stuff like that. And this old cabin is sort of a reminder of what life used to be like. So once you visited that shack, now you just simply need to return to Rhodes, as you'll be able to start the next part of this bounty. And once you return to Rhodes, you'll notice a new bounty poster is up, and it is for Robbie Laidlaw, who you guys can see there is wanted for a $35 reward for arrest or detention and presentation to an officer. And you can see he has like an eye patch right there, which is kind of cool. And he is wanted for theft, fraud, and assault on a deputy. And Alden has this to say about him.
I heard that Laidlaw's being put up near Catfish Jackson's. He's a piece of work, but he's still got friends.
When I took the poster, you said this bounty's got friends? You his friend? That's what you meant?
Me? Oh, no, certainly not. I meant there's folks sympathetic to the man, and likely as not to be assisting him.
What else I need to know about this fella with the bounty, Laidlaw?
Well, he's a Scotsman. But most of the folks around here are as well, if you go back far enough. Good and bad. He's a rough feller in need of rough handling. I'm sure you understand.
I guess they ain't gonna turn themselves in.
So it seems pretty straightforward, and you actually get the location on the map, and you'll notice that it's right inside of that old Harry Finn shack. So that's basically what you have to do. You simply just have to go inside of the shack, and doing so, you'll actually get ambushed by Robbie Laidlaw and one of his associates. And I don't know what they're doing inside there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as soon as you end up beating up the other guy, your job is to chase Robbie, who has actually gone into like a field or a crop field or whatever the case is. And then from there, it's simply your job to just track him down and lasso him. He actually tries to throw a fire bottle at you as well, so that's something you need to be careful about too. Like, don't accidentally get hit by that, because that would not be good news. And then from there, your job is to simply bring him back to the Rhodes Sheriff Office. He has some interesting conversations to say on the way back. Let's just say he's talking about some lewd photographs. It's kind of interesting, the conversation he's talking about. And then, of course, you end up bringing him to the Rhodes Sheriff, where the sheriff has this to say.
Here's your Scotsman. Nearly torched me, but I got him.
Oh, dear Mr. Laidlaw. That is going to count against you. Cell's there for him.
I'll have none of it. I came peacefully.
Well, like hell you did.
Bounty's the same whether you was nearly inflamed or not, I'm afraid.
I'll take it, if you'll take it.
I didn't do nothing to that man.
So the bounties themselves were pretty simple, but I wonder why Rockstar required us to find that shack before we could ultimately dive into this bounty. Was Robbie and his associate using that shack for something, or were they the original owners of the shack? Now, I think they're a little bit young for that, especially because that newspaper clipping was from the 1850s, so they don't even look like they're 40 years old, and even if they were 1 year old when that happened, they would only be around 30 or 40. So I don't think they are the original owners, but it certainly looks as if they're using it as a hideout, or some sort of base of operations. And it begs the question, is Robbie associated with the missing family of that cabin? And is he associated with the runaway slave that can also be found on the shore really close to this house too? It sort of opened up a lot of questions, and I wonder if this is Rockstar trying to solve this mystery for us. Or it could just be that this is Robbie using this house as sort of a hideaway to escape from the bounty. And the reason we needed to explore it first is so Arthur would have a general idea of where it is. I feel like there's a lot of different directions that this could go. Now, upon doing some research on this cabin, according to the Red Dead Wikipedia page, which again, this could be incorrect, it states that there is a crawl space of the house in which there is a lockbox containing aged pirate rum, chewing tobacco, and money. Now, I have visited this shack a bunch, and I have looked in every crack, in every little nook and cranny, and I have not personally found a crawl space in which you can access on this house. So maybe that's just a mistake on the Wikipedia page. I was hoping it would give us some more intel on the actual house itself. But regardless, I think it solves what's actually going on at the old Harry Finn shack now. I think it's being used as a sort of bandit outpost, or was, to Robbie Laidlaw, and I think it hasn't been used for what it was in the past, slave trading, or at least keeping slaves there, for a long, long time. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating on this video. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next video.